Welcome to Be the Lighthouse. I'm so thrilled to deliver this program. And right off the bat, I want to say thank you for trusting me to be part of your journey, for coming along in this introductory program of mine, and for trusting me again. That's the biggest part of this for me, is that you've trusted me with part of your journey, and I hope I don't disappoint. I'm going to try my best not to. So this video is actually going to be a little bit longer than maybe the others, because there's a lot of content I want to cover in this very first foundational week. Some of the concepts you might be familiar with already, but to start with, and of course I'm trying to work with what I have here. This is our TV. I'm in the TV room, and I have my computer set up with PowerPoint. I have a lamp over there because it's really dark today. I'm going to try to keep looking at the camera. So bear with me. It's a lot of moving parts at once, so hopefully this is going to come off okay and that you can hear everything. So Be the Lighthouse. This program I've designed to hopefully give you the courage, confidence and certainty to move forward in your life, feeling different about yourself and about your potential for the future. Okay? And the outline is the way that the program, of course, is going to unfold is that you'll receive this video, or each weekly video, on Sunday. You have all week to work with the material. Now, this is an important aspect of it. I want you to really dig into these concepts and start putting some of these principles that I'm going to be teaching, some of these tools and techniques, into practice, because we really do learn best by doing. Wednesdays, I'm going to do a additional training inside of our pop-up Facebook group. The timing, at the recording of this video, we haven't decided on the timing completely, but I'm shooting for 5 o'clock Newfoundland time, which is 3:30 for Teddy in Ontario, which is that's 4:30 for Uena in Nova Scotia, 5 o'clock in Newfoundland, and 9:30 for me. Saturdays, we're going to meet on Zoom. I have an individual private meeting with Rachel on at 8:30 my time. No, her time, sorry. That's her time. So I'm proposing 11 o'clock for everyone else, Newfoundland time. So that would be 9:30 for you, Teddy. And also that would be 10:30 for Uena. And for Newfoundlanders, 11 o'clock. Okay, that will be our Zoom time on Saturdays. So, with that, also, I've developed this morning a takeaway weekly worksheet that I want you to complete at the end of every week or throughout the week. You can choose yourself how you want to do this. The purpose of this little sheet is to keep a record of your challenges, the things that are challenging you, and also the things, the insights that you're receiving, the shifts that you're feeling. Because they're going to come throughout the week. As you start working with this stuff, you're going to have different thoughts, different things come up. You're going to have some doubts and fears come up. That's a natural part of the process as well. So, I want you to record either throughout the week or as a summary at the end of the week your biggest takeaways, your biggest challenges, your biggest insights from the week. And the purpose of that is really to bring more awareness to what you're actually processing. Okay, when it seems when you write things down, it becomes more embodied, and that's what I want here. Like I can sit here every week, do a video, like pile a load of information on top of you, but it's going to be no good to you unless you put some action behind it, unless you put it into practice. You practice these things that I'm going to be talking about. Okay? So let's get on with the lesson. So how to approach this program, what you're bringing to it is really important, because everything is about energy. Okay? The way that we feel, the way that we think, and what we do. You're bringing a particular energy to this, as am I. Right? I'm also bringing an energy here. And right now, both of us have a certain set of expectations that we're bringing to the table as well. That's involved in our energy. And I know from my part, I've committed to bringing absolutely everything that I can to this program so that you can get everything that you can out of this program. I want you to show up with a level of expectation of openness. You know, that you're opening your heart and you're opening your mind to some new concepts, and some of them are not going to feel very, very comfortable because they're going to challenge some long-term beliefs and patterns and habits of thinking that you've had up to this point in your life. I just want you to know that that's okay. And as we get into the lesson today, you're going to hopefully gain some further insight into the workings of our brain. And I'm going to expand on that again on Wednesday. All right? So, energy. Don't judge or compare yourself to anyone else that's going through this program. You are unique. You are individual. You have your history. I have mine. So does everybody else. You have your way of doing things, right? Don't compare. Don't, you know, when we're talking inside the Facebook group, our little pop-up group, you know, and I do want you to share in there, because your sharing is helping others. When you're struggling, we'll all jump in to try to help you as well, right? That's what that level of support is so, so important. You're not alone in this. None of us are alone in life, right? So I want to have that kind of interaction going on in the Facebook, because there's so many benefits to that. But in that, I don't want you to say, oh God, she's after having this kind of an insight and I still haven't had anything. You know, I don't want you to compare, to judge. Your insights are going to come in your way. Okay, the way that they are meant for you. All right, so keep that in mind. I mentioned already, like, come with an open mind and an open heart to what's going to happen over the next 6 weeks. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. No doubt, with everything there is. Okay, so accept that right from the beginning, that it's going to get a little bumpy. All right? Trust the process. Very important here to trust what's happening. Anytime that we stretch ourselves outside of our comfort zones, it's going to hurt. You know, like, think about when, you know, you've indulged a little bit too much. And your stomach stretches and you're very, very bloated, right? It hurts, right? And you have to bring yourself back to alignment by probably losing 5 or 10 pounds. But what I'm talking about is that growth, although it can be very good, like personal, spiritual growth can be very, very good, it can hurt a little because you are stretching. You're stretching different way, your different thinking muscles, different ways of looking at the world. You know, so that's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. So be open and ask for help. Be open and ask for help. If you don't feel comfortable asking inside the group, ask me. All right, I'm here. And motivation, that's the part that I'm going to get into now in the first part of this lesson. All right, so I have my notes, quite a few. And this lesson is a little bit long, so feel free to pause, you know, as we go along here. The beauty of having this on video is that, you know, you can come back to it, you can rewind, you can take notes, which I do advise, by the way, if you want to, you know, something really strikes you, something really hits you, take notes. Having a little journal or some sort of notepad that's particularly just for this program might be an idea as well. Keeping your thoughts together. If you prefer to do it on your computer, that's fine as well. Just have a separate folder where you save all of your writings and your worksheets and those kinds of things, okay? Keep a record of this. It's going to be important to keep a record and to look back on it. So, let me see. Where do we start? Yeah. I've already kind of said that. So, you're going to be accessing and witnessing and transforming some very, very strong beliefs and patterns of thinking as well as patterns of behavior. All right. Or maybe, let me see. Let me get in here. I might forget to do that. Let's see. First time around for all of us. Okay. So, when you start examining these things about yourself, it's, as I said, you're probably going to find some things that you weren't aware that were there, okay? And they might be hard to accept. I know when I went through this process, it was hard for me to accept some really truths that I wasn't so happy about, all right? But it is part of the process. You're going to hear me say that more than once. Trust it. All right? You're in the right place. And it's going to feel uncomfortable and you might want to stop because your brain feels a bit scared. Now, most of you have been through the Manage Your Mind series. So I'm not going to dig into the concepts that I went over in those 6 weeks because you already have them. If you want to have the videos to watch again in your spare time, I can send them to you too, okay? But know that you've been guided to this program for a reason, all right? Your soul is ready to change or you wouldn't be here. This is a really important thing to come back to center, you know, when you start spinning out. Because you're gonna spin out in your mind. And when the going gets tough, you're going to need something to pull you back out of the gutter. So right out of the gate, we're going to establish what that thing is for you, okay? And the reason is simple. If you can get clear on why you're doing this work, it's going to keep you in the game when the tough moments come. When those moments of doubt and fear start literally trying to tear you apart or to stall you in your tracks, then you know, you need to have a clearly defined reason, a clearly defined why you're doing this work. So the first worksheet, we're starting to get into that now. This is the first worksheet for today, and it's going to take you through a question process of uncovering your what and your why. And I want you to answer these questions. Journal about them if you want. Meditate. Go for a walk in the woods or by the water or somewhere. Clear your head before you approach them. And again, use that open heart and open mind with yourself when you go for these answers. Don't try to come up with a perfect answer. There is no such thing. There's only your answer. Okay? What's right for you. And I want you to go as deep as you possibly can go. In other words, I don't want you to say, well, what I want is to be happy. That's too general. It's absolutely too general. Or what I want is to feel better. Not specific enough. Okay? You don't have to write a short story, right? You know your story already. So you don't have to remind yourself of your story. But I want you to dig a little deeper to find out what it is you really want and why you want it. to get crystal clear. Your what is the thing, the thing that you want to achieve, or the thing that you want to become, or the change that you want to have. That's what your what is. And your why is the driving force behind that. The reason this thing is so important to you. And it might be so deep in your subconscious or in your soul that you're going to have to dig for it for a little while. Your why is something that's so important that quitting is not an option. It means that you're not going to give up even when it gets tough. It has to be this deep for you, because if you have nothing at stake, we all know this, we've all been there. If there's nothing at stake, if there's nothing to lose, guess what? It's easy to give up. Really easy to say, frig that. You know, I don't need to dig that deep. But your soul knows you need to dig that deep, or you wouldn't be here, my friend. You just wouldn't be part of this program, okay? Your soul is the wisest part of you, and we're going to get into that more and more. So discovering your why for doing this work is actually not going to take away the struggle or the uncomfortableness of doing the work, but it is going to keep you in the game, because you understand that, okay, this is the most important thing to me. Your why doesn't have to be something very super deep or spiritual or altruistic, although it can be. It can involve other people, but it has to be central to your life. It has to be compelling for you and only you. And your why is the thing that makes you want your what so bad that you're willing to go all in for it. That you're willing to walk that extra mile. That you're willing to face some hard truths. That you're willing to shed some tears maybe. And that you're willing to pick yourself up and brush off your knees, your skinned knees. All right, and keep going. That's how deep your why has to go. That's the power of a strong why, and it's the thing that's going to help you walk through the fire when you need to. There are reasons why a lot of people are walking around empty. I think I'm covering my own presentation here. I'm sorry. There's a reason why people are walking around feeling empty and passionless and just unsatisfied and unfulfilled. And one of the biggest reasons is because they haven't really clearly defined what they want and why they want it. And without that clarification, you're not going in any particular direction. But when you have that deep-rooted reason, you know, that deep why you want this so bad, all your decisions get made with that in mind. And life, actually, your decisions get easier because you have that measuring stick. You have that guiding light, you know, inside, that thing, right? That you have to, does this bring me closer to that or further away from it, right? So to kind of make this maybe a little bit more tangible to you, I'll tell you what my why and what my what are, okay? To help you see the importance of answering these questions for yourself. My what is to live or to show by example what can be possible when I manage my own thinking, when I accept the truth of who I am, and I believe in myself 1000%. That is the what of my life. My friend, my why is to make what I've been through count for something. I don't want to die without having my experiences mean something to me first, and then to help others in their lives. That's the thing that's driving Michelle Myrick. Okay, now it would have been easy for me to say my what is to be a successful coach. And my why would have been to earn a living doing what I do, what I love, right? That's too surface. I want you to go deeper, as deep as you can get with it. It will help you as we move through this process, when we get into week 4 and week 5, about developing a plan for your life. Because that's where we're going here. We're going all the way. We're going deep, okay? This is not some fluff little course. I'm going to push you guys. I'm really going to push you to design your life the way you want to live it. And it's going to take some work, but we'll get there. So, do you see how, though, that what and why keeps me in the game? Because let me tell you, this is not easy. You know, this coaching business, while I love it, don't get me wrong, I do, I enjoy it, I love it, but it is difficult putting myself out there so much, being so vulnerable, being so open, you know, exposing all of what I've considered my ugliness for so long, right? To opening myself up to judgment. That is not easy, my friend, right? But my why is so strong. It pulls me through that. It pulls me through any kind of discomfort that I feel about that. You know, and I mean, like, when the going gets tough, I have to wear all hats. I gotta make this. Today, the TV almost fell off the wall because I didn't know how to hook it up. I had to get Radar in to help me with that. But all the tech stuff, all the content development, I educate myself, keep educating myself, develop the programs, do the finances, do the marketing. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. But guess what's driving me? My why. I want to make my experiences count for something. Everything I've been through, that's the thing, like, it has to mean something. That's my why. And I can get emotional. I'm probably going to cry more than once as we go through this program. But that's how deep I go with this. That's why I'm doing it, right? So find your why. Really important. My what and my why are at the core of who I am as a person. And I bring all of that into my job, into my relationships, into my friendships, into everything. I bring all of that, right? That is that's where I'm living from. That's what's guiding my choices and my decisions. So, this is your starting point, and you can pause the video here if you want to take some time, take as much time as you need to come up with your what and your why. It's not going to be easy for most. It's going to take some time, and it's going to be difficult going deep to really get past the surface, you know, and I mean, like, a lot of people get upset with this because I'm not a parent. But listen, everyone should, if they don't, hope to be a good parent, a good model for their children. That's as surface as, like, I want to enjoy my job, right? Go deeper than that. Go deeper than what it means to be a good mom. Okay? Go deep into you as a person, not as a mother, but as a person. This is your process here for your life. Your children are going to benefit. Your children are going to benefit from you doing this work, without a doubt. Absolutely. 100%. Right? So I want you to look at it from you, the me person inside of you, not the mother, not the wife, not the business partner, not the friend, the you, for you. Okay? That's what I'm getting at here. This has to be for you. See the homework sheet to help you with the process. You can record your responses on that. And we're also going to discuss this on Wednesday and Saturday if necessary. Okay? Remember, though, that your soul has the answer. It mightn't give it to you right away. It might take a little bit of time. You might have to have a few conversations. You might have to get to know your soul a little bit better. Okay? So what you write today or tomorrow or throughout this week is probably going to change, and that's okay. You don't have to have all the answers all the time. They can change as you change, as you become more aware, as you get more in tune with your soul and what that your soul, the soulful part of you, wants for your life, what you actually really deserve. Okay, it's going to come. So your what and your why are going to evolve just as you are. So don't get caught up on having them to be perfect. There is no such thing. It's always going to be a changing thing. But if you do write one early in the week and then maybe something else comes to you that's a little bit deeper, and then something else comes to you again, keep your versions. Okay, save them on your computer or save them in your journal, if you will, if you want. Remember this one truth throughout all of this, that your soul has the answers that you seek. It already knows what's best for you. And now you're in the process of aligning your mind, body, and soul together to receive these important answers for your life. And I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited that you're taking this journey and that I get to be part of it. So take a pause now on this video and come back to watch the second part of this lesson. But for me, I'm going to keep going. So part 2. I forgot. Yikes! I'm not so good with the. I'm not used to doing the PowerPoint. So right now you should have a what and a why. And as I mentioned, they will evolve. They will keep changing. You will keep adding to them and switching them up or changing them completely. Okay? And that's quite all right. So the process is a process of exploring, journaling, defining, rinse, repeat, and revise. Basically, do it as often as you need to do it. Update it as often as you want. Change your wording as often as you need. The important thing here is to remember, or not to remember, but to be aware of how it makes you feel. Like when something is right for you, you're going to feel it instinctually. Instinctually. God, that's a hard word to say today. Instinctively. There it is. Oh my Lord. Okay. Right? Like you're just going to know inside that, yeah, this is clearer. This is more what I'm trying to say. Right? So keep that. So the second part of our lesson here is the ABCs of thought. Now, most of you are also in Heart of the Matter, and I did a little check up from the neck up, I called it, in there one day. It's in the files, a video about this, about the ABCs of thought. So I'm not going to dig in too deep into this. It's a pretty basic concept, and you've probably already seen that video, but I want to bring it into your awareness right now. The A's of life are the activators. And these are the situations, people, circumstances, and even our own personal history can activate us or trigger us at times. It's something that happens, okay? It can be a scent that brings you back to a time. It can be a sound. It can be anything, a movie, absolutely anything, a word, a conversation, the look in someone's face. It can be absolutely anything that can activate you and cause you to respond. Now, sometimes that response is inward, not outward, all right? Responses are not always visible, but we do respond. We're always responding inwardly. It's only every now and then we show it outwardly, right? But here's what happens with the ABCs of thought. The consequences are our reactions, our responses, and our behavior that happens, whether it's inward or outward. But what happens is that for most of us, we go straight from A to C without this part, without the B. And this is the part that we're going to dig into a little bit in this program. The beliefs, the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious parts of our cognitive awareness. And I do go into this a little bit further into my book, which I believe most of you, if not all of you, have read already. So I'm not going to scratch that too far. But I will say that Sigmund Freud is the one that came up with this concept of the brain like an iceberg. And I find that, maybe it's because I'm an artist or a visual artist, I like images. I like images to help me relate to things and, get a clearer idea or a picture in my mind. So I think everyone here has seen an iceberg, pretty sure. And so you know that the majority of it is underwater. But according to Freud, sorry, my God, what's wrong with me today? Sigmund Freud, the top of the water is, the part of the iceberg that's above the water is our consciousness. So like that is the conscious part of our mind. So right now you're watching me on this video. So you're aware of how my lips are moving, how my voice sounds, what I'm wearing today. You're taking notice of all that. It's your immediate level of awareness. Okay, you recognize that this is a pink color, that's a blue color, those kinds of things. That's where we live our everyday life, pretty much. That's where we're functioning, right? Is that part of the iceberg that sits as our front of mind awareness, is a way of looking at it as well. Right now, as I said, you're aware of watching this video. The subconscious is the part of the iceberg that's just above or below the water surface. And according to Freud, now I thought I said Floyd again, it's where we store information that we don't immediately need, but we can bring it to mind. So I think about it as like this, like it's mathematics. It's you're not walking around thinking about, 8 times 5 all day long, right? But when you need to know that answer, you can pull it up. You're not stopping to think about, how do I tie my shoelaces again? You learned that. It's there. It's easily pulled up to the surface if you need to show somebody else, right? Or do it yourself, whatever. It's all the main events of our lives live there. We can pull those memories out whenever we need them, right? You can think back now to a time when you were 10 and remember something. That's in your subconscious, right at the water's level. You can access it and it can come up when you need it. So these are kind of like our memories, in a way. Then below that, what else? I'm skipping ahead here. Okay, so if I were to ask you now, if you like what I'm saying on this video, right, your answer will be based on all of your past experiences, all of those things that are at the water's level, everything that's informed you up to this point, right? That's what your answer will be based on, right? All of the sum total of your experiences. So this is where your opinions, your likes, your dislikes, your preferences are too, and you don't have to think too long and hard about them. They're just there because they simmer to the top from all of your experiences. That's your subconscious. Your unconscious is the largest part of the iceberg. It's where we store our learned habits, our behaviors, and our beliefs. Most times we're not aware of them. And so we don't bring them to the surface. And I mean, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. They calculate that we have anywhere, I think they say from 14 to 60,000 thoughts a day. Would you want them to be coming to the surface? All of them? All day long? No, you wouldn't. You know? So a lot of those thoughts are going on behind the scenes and so deep down in the water that we're not even aware of them. And that's what's driving these behaviors. That's why that part is so important, because it's these things that we're not quite aware of why we react the way that we react. But that's what's driving them. Okay? That's what's driving all of this. And that is the tricky part, because basically our thoughts are running on autopilot, you know? But the more that we bring awareness to our thinking, the more we can gain control over our lives. Because we can go down into that iceberg a little bit and figure out what's in there. Why did I react that way? What made me feel this way? Where's that coming from? Right? It's like these are still part of us, even though they're deep into our unconscious. They're part of us, and we can dig them out, which is some of the work that we're going to be doing here. So, as for the C part of the ABCs, of course, these are the consequences or the end of the thought process. But most times, as I said, we skip straight from here to here with little or no thought about what's driving it. And it might feel, this is important, it might feel that the activators are causing our consequences, but it's not. It's this one. A, B, C. Now, I'm a kindergarten teacher. They don't go A, C, B. They go A, B, C in order. And that is what's driving our consequences. That's what's creating them. So what happens is that we link the activator or the cause to the consequence. So it's things like this. That person made me angry, so I did whatever. You know, that incident made me sad, so I did this. That supervisor said this to me and made me feel very apprehensive, so I, was hurt for a week or whatever. Took it personally. Did something not kind to myself. Right? So, like, it's not the activators are not causing this. It's this part. It's this part of the iceberg that's causing it. Okay? And that's where we're going to go. We have stuff that happens. We interpret that stuff, the B, and we react to that stuff, the A, B, C's. Simple but profound, but we need to become more aware of how the beliefs in which we have and how they're operating, how we're operating from them. And that leads us to interpreting life events the way that we do. So by doing this, by removing the negative charge of the activator, it just becomes a neutral event. So, most times we just look at this, okay, it's that person's fault, or it's this thing's fault, or because of that, or, But when we can neutralize this and just see it as a fact, okay, that happened. Now, I don't need to react to it the way that I normally do, or the way that I normally would have. I'm going to figure out why I was doing that. And I'm going to change it. So your consequence becomes different. Your reaction becomes different. So your life becomes different because of that. Okay, this is the work of the ABCs of thought. So on your second worksheet, I'm making your work this week. I'll tell you. We have an exercise called, this is number 2 worksheet, the ABCs of thought exercise. So I'm not going to go through this with you right now. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I want you to recall a time when you reacted without thinking. It might take you a little minute to remember something. But a time when you just had an automatic kind of response to something, and it was something that was not super big. You know, not like the loss of a loved one, not like an accident of someone, not like getting a diagnosis for something, or, not a big event. Something that happened, and even after you said to yourself, God, I think I might have overreacted to that a little bit, even though you might not want to admit it, right? But try to think of a time like that for this exercise. Nothing too big, but something that had the potential to sting you. You felt stung, so you reacted. That's what I'm looking for, that sting, okay? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you had an outburst either. Just having the sting and taking that in. We can do more damage sometimes holding things in than outbursting, right? Because it's still there, and we relive it over and over and over. Because we haven't expressed it, we haven't processed it. So try this exercise and see how you make out with it. Again, we're going to discuss these if you have any issues with them during our Zoom call. All right, we'll go over these. So let's see where I am now. Yeah, if you want, you can take a little break at this point before we head into part 3, or you can just keep on going, up to you. So the third part of today's lesson is the ABCs of personality. Those that have been around for a while, this is new to you because it's something new that I just came up with. You have not heard me talk about this before. So this section is about observing our particular traits or characteristics. In particular, the things that we view as our flaws, as our personal flaws. Because here's the thing, and here's why this is important. If we can't self-observe, in other words, if we can't see the way that we see ourselves, then we're not going to be able to self-correct that. So self-observation is really important in this entire process. And I want to look at this, our social persona, in a sense, okay? What we project out to the world, our personality. We all have parts of our personalities that we don't necessarily like. And these are the parts that we work on hiding away. We don't want to show those things because it feels like they will, people will look unfavorably at us if we expose that part of our personality. And in doing so, we face rejection, we face judgment, So we work hard on hiding those kinds of things about ourselves. But here's the thing. I believe that we do ourselves a big disservice if we fail to look at these so-called flaws. Because I think there's a whole lot we can learn from them. And I believe inside of every so-called flaw, there is a strength of character. As much as we feel that it weakens us, it has the power to equally strengthen us, I believe. So a quick personal example again. Like, I've always seen one of my flaws as being a lack of patience. And I struggled with this for majority of my life, and still do as well, struggle with patience. I've been told that this is something that I need to change, both personally and professionally, in different kinds of situations. And I've always viewed it as a very bad thing, not to be more patient, right? It was one of the things I dislike about myself a lot. So, but here's the thing. And I'm using this as an example so that you can do a similar exercise with yourself. There's a huge asset to impatience, right? There is a gift in impatience, if you will. It has moved me to act quickly in situations. That's been a plus at times in my life, right? Because it led me to places that I didn't think I would go, and it also challenged me to do things that I didn't think I could do. If I was waiting on somebody else to do it for me, right? I took the time to figure it out myself, right? And so that, I mean, it has actually helped me to grow. And what else did I have down there? Yeah, like it's I probably never would have known if I'd spent or learned these things if I had spent some time waiting for everything to be perfect before I moved, before I did something, right? So my impatience, my impulse to just do it, just not wait, right, has led me places where I wouldn't have gotten otherwise, right? Has helped me to develop a big independent streak. No doubt, absolutely no doubt. It's helped me develop more compassion for other people when I witness their impatience. I mean, it has taught me lessons. I remember when I first became aware of this back. Oh, I remember I was at Dominion on Black Marsh Road. So when did that open up first? I can't remember now. But anyway, it's probably like 15 years ago or more. I was in a lineup and I was really impatient. And I have read something recently, I suppose, maybe Wayne Dyer or somebody, Eckhart Tolle or someone. And I was like, okay, let's just see now. Let's embrace this impatience, Michelle. What is it here to teach you? Right? And somebody was struggling. That's up ahead in the line. That's why the line wasn't moving. Somebody was it was an older woman, and she had some trouble with her packages and trouble putting things up and, onto the conveyor belt, whatever. And like I realized how, if I could embrace that moment, what that impatience was there to teach me. It was there to teach me to be compassionate. You're like someone else is struggling. Have a little bit of compassion. Right? So, this is what I'm digging for here, okay? One of your so-called flaws has a strength in it. I want you to find it. So, I've labeled the ABCs of personality as these. Acknowledging that we all have different personality types. In fact, most of us have a combination. All of these, the big five and the what is it? The trigs. What is that one called? Shoot, can't remember now. But all of these different personality tests that you can take. If you have ever taken one of those personality tests, they'll probably nail you, but you'll also see that I'm a little bit of this too, and I'm a little bit of that as well. Most of us have a combination of personality types, right? So that's accepting, acknowledging that we're all a little bit different, but we're all a little bit alike as well. And belonging, I think, is really, really important here. To accept all of who we are, flaws and all, my friends, flaws and all. To see the gift in those flaws. To develop a sense of belonging to ourselves, every part of us, to own that, right, as the beauty of who we are, the complex person that we are. And there's so much beauty and strength in that level of belonging to yourself, taking it in, owning it, seeing the good in something that you've considered bad for so long. Okay, even if you can just do it with one thing, start there. And keep working on that. Keep working on these flaws and see where you can find the strength in them. Okay, because it's there. I promise you, it's there. And compassion. Okay, remove the shame and the blame and the guilt for any of this, any of your so-called flaws. Stop blaming yourself for being a certain way. Stop feeling guilty about it for being a certain way. Own it. See the point of it. See why that is part of who you are. You know, just like I did with my impatience. And I mean, people are still going to tell me that I'm impatient, and that's fine. Don't bother me no more. It seriously doesn't bother me anymore because I see it as a gift now, not as a flaw. But for 40 years, I saw it as a flaw until I changed it. You know, it's possible. It's possible. Start with one. Just start with one. So that's your third worksheet for this week is to look at the ABCs of a flaw. Okay, so to acknowledge one of your most troublesome personality flaws as you perceive it. As you perceive it. You know, I might look at it and say, sure, that's not a flaw. But if you perceive it as such, that's where I want you to go, okay? And then work that out for the B. How are you going to choose to see the following strength in it? How are you going to own that? How are you going to make that belong to you in a better way? Right? Belong to you as part of your character, part of, you know, the beauty of who you are. And of course, compassion. The next time that you experience yourself or experience that part of your personality, what are you going to do to remind yourself of, okay, you know, like I did in the Dominion lineup, right? What are you going to do when that strikes you? Oh God, I'm so whatever, you know, and because you're automatically going to think it. It's been a part of you for so long, right? But what are you going to tell yourself? I want you to write it down. I want you to make that contract with yourself, okay? How you're going to change that. So, let me see. Yeah, and while you're doing all of this, journal about it if you want. You know, take some time, write about it. Do something to clear your mind. I mean, whatever that is for you, you must have something that helps you center and calm yourself. It could be gardening. It could be painting. You know, it could be playing with your kitten. It could be going for a walk. It could be doing a meditation. It could be just lying on the floor and just feeling your body make contact with the floor. Whatever it is that works for you, I want you to get in that space when you're doing these exercises, okay, throughout the week. And don't beat yourself up. Oh, I don't know how to do this, or I'm not doing this right. I can almost hear you now. Stop it. Stop it. Give yourself a freaking break. Right? You've started down this road. Be patient with yourself now. Have compassion for yourself. You're going to discover a different you in this program. I promise you that. And I'm so excited about that. And I hope you are too. Let me see. That's the other thing. If you're having trouble with this, that's why the Facebook group is there as well. All right? It's there to, like, okay, Michelle said this, Michelle said that. I'm not sure I understand. Like, I could be asleep when you're posting, but somebody else might see your post and help you out with that and give you some clarification or whatever. Like, so, you know, it's only a handful of us that are in this Facebook group, and you all pretty much know each other anyway, all right, from being around in my circles before. So get in there, you know, start voicing some stuff. Like, be brave. Put yourself out there, because when you're really real and when you're vulnerable, listen, the cream comes to the surface. It just comes to the top because you're not hiding. You're not hiding anymore, right? And that allows you to flourish. It allows you to blossom, my friend. right? It allows you, like the little poppies that just opened up yesterday underneath my bedroom window. You know, it had to crack its shell. You're cracking your shell in this program. I'm so freaking proud of you for doing it, for doing this work for your life, to change your life, because it's gonna change your life. I promise you that. Now the pop-up lesson. Let me see what I have here. Okay, I've been talking about all this stuff, but in a roundabout way. Yeah. Okay, so our pop-up lesson on Wednesday is going to happen at 5 p.m. Newfoundland time. I'm using Newfoundland time because most of you are in Newfoundland. But Teddy and Uena are in other provinces, so you adjust accordingly. Half-hour difference earlier for Uena, and a hour and a half difference ahead for Teddy. So we're going to talk a little bit about the lower mind versus the higher mind. We're going to talk about limited thinking versus limitless thinking. We're going to talk about the lower self-thoughts and higher self-thoughts, all within the framework too, as well, about the 4 levels of awareness. You might have seen my Facebook Live yesterday. I'm recording this on Friday, by the way. On Thursday this past week, I did a short Facebook Live on the 4 different levels of awareness. We're going to dig into that a whole lot more than what I did in the live, and look at it from these perspectives. Okay, that's what's going to happen on Wednesday. That's the extra lesson on Wednesday. Now, the last bit here. Remember to go easy on yourself as you move through all of these lessons. Trust the process. And please remember, there's never any mistakes. You cannot make a mistake in this program. It's not possible. Everything you're going to do, you're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to stop thinking from the framework of mistakes or wrong choices or wrong decisions. Okay? That we're going to get there. We're going to get there. By doing all of this process, you're going to start acknowledging and accepting yourself more fully, more openly, with a bigger heart than what you've been accepting yourself with so far. That's my hope. And as you grow in more respect and admiration and acceptance of the beautiful human being that you are, because you are, all right, that's going to lead to a greater sense of belonging than you've ever probably experienced before. And I mean, it's amazing to live from that place of being fully, openly, unapologetically you, and you being okay with that. You know, we spend the majority of our lives worrying what everyone else thinks. Really, the only thing that matters is what we think. And when we start living from that place of being okay with ourselves, actually starting moving towards loving and accepting ourselves, life changes. It just changes. And I want that for you. And I'll leave you with this little thought. How do you think it's going to feel when you're living from that place? How do you think your life might look when you're operating and every day waking up with eyes that are full of love and acceptance for who you are? I'm telling you, miracles are going to happen in your life. No doubt, no doubt. I'm so excited for you. Oh my God. My heart's bursting with excitement. And I truly do believe that we're going to accomplish great things over the next month and a half of doing this work. It's going to change you, and it's going to change you for the better. And my last slide is because I want you to let your soul soar out into the universe, as far reaching as it possibly can go. And I want you to share who you are, share your voice, because the world, your world, has been waiting to hear it. That's it for week 1, and look at that, almost to the nose on an hour. I'm so proud of myself. I was afraid this was going to take a couple of hours, but we got her done. So I will, of course, I'm available by email, access to me at any time. Given the time difference, I might be asleep. But also within the Facebook group, which is another great place to connect with each other. Okay, and that's important in this process. Because what is it? A rising tide lifts all ships. That is so true when we're talking about this kind of like personal development and growth and expansion and dealing with uncomfortable things. Right? It's great to have that feeling of support and friendship. And we have such a great circle of women in this program. Oh my God, I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled that you're all here. So I shall see you in the Facebook group. I shall see you on Wednesday. I certainly hope everyone can make that live. If you can't, it's going to be there, of course, recorded inside that pop-up group. And we will meet face to face on Saturday. Take care and be kind to yourself, okay?